Hello and a very good evening to you. My name is Phil Griggs. This is Cafe Clairvoyance and welcome to this Friday night show. Hope you're well. This is a new show that we're introducing here on Fridays. And as we go through the evening, hopefully you'll enjoy this, enjoy it, and join in. And we look forward to seeing you very, very soon. In the meantime, now, let's have a little bit of intro. Hello and a very good evening to you. I hope you're well wherever you are in this wonderful world. And let's call it wonderful. No matter what it is, we can call it wonderful because if you're in tune with yourself, you're resonating about yourself, then you're in a good place, aren't you? And so this is what this show is all about. It's a live spiritual show that comes out 4 shows a week now, and this is the Friday night show that starts off at 8 o'clock in the EU, 7 o'clock in the UK, and we also have other shows now which are live too, starting on Tuesday mornings. So very lovely to welcome you. Maria, hello, good evening to you. I hope you're well up there. And Susanna. Now, Susanna's a very interesting lady. She won the competition earlier on today for the most amazing event. She's been the one who's been putting the most information, like writing in and putting in all the topics and stuff. And so there was a little bit of a competition there, and she won. So thank you very, very much. Well done, Susanna. And Cheryl says, good evening. So it's lovely to see you guys on the evening. I know sometimes we put this on in the daytime and you're all busy little birds and bees and whatnot. So it's great to see you guys tonight. Even the producer is there. So I think we need to do this to a lot of you guys there. Now, in a short while, she's slightly delayed, but Alessandra will be coming on in a few minutes. And I don't know if you remember her, guys, but she joined us earlier on in the year, I think around June. No, actually, it was August. Yes, August. Cracky, it seems like 5 minutes ago it was. And she joined us on the show, and it was such a vibey show of positivity out there. Be positive, go make something in your life and connect with yourself, that it generated so much feedback from you guys that we decided to have Alessandra back. Now, she's tied up in something else in a minute, but she'll be with us very soon. And in the meantime, now, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what Friday's shows are going to be about. So the Friday night show is very much about more to do with like entertainment. Well, that goes with every show, doesn't it? Just about. But this is going to be about various different guests we're going to have on from all different fields, all different walks of life, and who wish to connect with us and help us to sparkle, do well out there. And just like Susanna says, she says, well done, Debbie, you shine and sparkle. Yes, isn't that lovely? And and you're welcome as well. So great to see you. On a Tuesday show, it's going to be interesting because we're actually broadcasting then very much to not just to the UK and the EU, but Australia in the evening is now connecting up with Cafe Clairvoyance, which is fabulous news. So you're going to see coming up in a couple of Tuesdays' times, not next Tuesday, Tuesday after, we'll be introducing a wonderful medium called Raven. And she comes all the way from Brisbane in Australia. And she's got various different skills, which I think are absolutely fascinating. So it'd be great to have her on the show and see how that goes as well, which I think would just be just magic. It's not Friday Night Wine Club then. No, there's no whining on here. We do not whine. We're all happy people. If you want to whine, you have a little wine the way you like there. For goodness sake, what's it like out here? Cheryl, those people in Dunstable, you just can't take them anywhere. All they want to do is whine. Disgraceful. Anyway, yes. We'll have to sort something out there. In fact, this is what you need. I think, Cheryl, this is what you need. Yes, one of those. Yes. Actually, I think I got rid of that horn. Actually, it's a bit rusty now. And yes, but I'm glad you guys are all right. And it's great to have you guys here from all walks here. Now, In the meantime, what I thought I'd do is just talk about energy just at the moment, and whilst I wait for Alessandra to come out shortly, also I might just jump into a couple of readings with you guys. Anybody want something there, perhaps? And just enjoy the show. So, what's going on? How's the energy at the moment? Well, if you did you see the Wednesday show this week with Guillermo? Oh my goodness, it was crazy. It was crazy. It's one of those shows which you had to think, did that really happen? Because I've yet to go back and go and listen to it. But I know some people said here, I've watched it once, I had to go and watch it again. So it is one of those shows, one of those crazy shows. So she was brilliant. And then on Tuesday night here, wow, that was a cracker. We had Mick the Undertaker. There he is, Mike the Undertaker. He was fantastic. Hello Chelsea, all the way over there in San Diego. Love to see you because you're awake now, aren't you? It's your time of day where you're awake. Yes. Tuesday was just hilarious. Tears were coming down my face. For an Undertaker, it's one of the funniest shows I think that ever presented on here with someone outside of Clairvoyance. And hi there, Ariana. Lovely to see you too. Now, I just thought I'd have a little dabble around here and just see what's coming up here. And yes, let's just have a look here. Now, I'm going to have a look. In fact, let's just have a look. Let's go. Who was one of the first people to come flying on here? Now, Debs from sunny Bedford. How are you? You look fabulous. You look so fabulous that I think I need to just tune into you a little bit here and just change things around. So rather than you asking for reasons, I'm just going to pick people at random and see what we can pick up here. Now, as I'm working with you, Debs, at this very moment in time, it's interesting actually, because would you understand here this feeling of exhaustion, tiredness? Would you understand here you need to just relax, unwind? Why? Because the energy around you is very much about change and transformation, as many of us are going through, but you especially here, Debs. And there's this gentleman here who'd like to come up and just pop through. And he's very much resonating around us here. And he's on your father's side, your family here. And would you understand here that you're watching your pennies at the moment the way she is. And he's just showing me here to say to you about pennies. And he's also saying to me here, he says, would you understand here that you have sort of kept yourself to yourself? That's what we want to say first of all. And as I'm tuning in with him as well, the other bit I would like to say here too, the bit that he's coming through on, is to just say to you that he wants to let you know that, would you understand there's a healing which is going on, which I get a feeling here is around family. So would you understand here about healing around family, like for instance, siblings, brothers, sisters, and but it's just slowly starting to communicate and get on maybe a little bit better here. And the other thing, Debs, which is a huge thing for you, he's telling me here that would you understand as well if I was to say to you that you really are now starting to come up in yourself? Would you understand here about this self-importance? Would you understand about this energy, about feeling really good about yourself? Because that's the energy he wants to bring over to you. It's this energy of feeling good. She says, I'm tired tonight. I do keep myself to this. Yes, my sister and brother don't speak to me. Yes, that's right. That's what he's telling me. He says, but would you understand here that there is a possibility here? Because he's telling me about this. Would you understand about this link that you're actually wanting to, maybe like to reconnect with this link and just make things a little bit different? Would you understand this? Would you understand there's something coming up here? Because that's what they want to say to you. And that so things can very slowly start to heal. So those people that speak at the moment, we're in a funny time. So you never know. And that's his big message to you, because you're coming up in yourself. Would you understand you felt down about yourself? It's like, whoa, come on now, Des. We need a bit of self-esteem, confidence, and then bop out there. Sorry, boxing mad here. But yes, I hope so, to reconnect with your sister. Yes, and that's what he's saying to me. There's this lovely man saying to me, he's on your father's side. In fact, it's your grandfather on your father's side. And he's here and he just wants to give you a big hug, big spiritual hug, and that's going to be up there, and he's very happy with you. Good. This is interesting. We've got a lady called Crystal Candelaria Aloha from Maui. Wow. Well, lovely to know we get out that far. That's fantastic. But I can see Maui. Yeah, it's not too far away. It's just down the road around the corner. You're in Maui. Brilliant. And hello, Ariana. Lovely to see you. Okay, let's see what else can come up here. Now, tonight, when Alessandra comes on, she's going to be talking about, as she did in the last show there, she'll be talking about positivity, vibiness, and how to get yourself right out there when life is sometimes pulling you down, but you don't give in. And this is a show that is always there, no matter how crappy you feel. We're here to entertain, lift your spirits, no matter what guest, whether it's just me or someone else like Helen Grady, because she's watching tonight. And if it's someone else that comes on the show here, we're there to just show a bit of encouragement to keep you guys going. Cheryl, good evening to you. Good evening to you. I like it like this. I've just changed the style a little bit. I like this style. I just pick on you, and just let's have a little look at you guys here. And would you understand here about laughingly, you've had to watch your appetite a little bit. Would you understand about their energy there, thinking, oh my goodness, sometimes you just need to have that lift. When they talk about appetite, like you eating a bit too much, but you're laughing about it. Would you understand the feeling of associated with laughter and things like this here? So I just pick up that energy. And they're telling me here too, I've got these. Now, would you have understood here? I've got this lovely, lovely lady. Here's chocolate, she says. Chocolate, yes. See, nothing secret on this show. You do things. You think you can get away with it. No. You can't. Anyway, we forgive you anyway. Just don't, next time, share it. Anyway, so what I like now, I've got these two lovely ladies here. And initially, I thought they were sisters. But they just corrected me. And they just said to me here that one is a mother and one is a daughter. But the daughter you didn't know. This is interesting. So there's a lady here. She tells me here that she's got this energy about her, that it's the mother here who knows you, but the daughter you didn't meet for some reason. But I'm not saying this is your mother. This is something else going on here. But I've got two energies here, two interesting energies, and they're coming through for you. And they're very family connected in a line here somewhere. And the lady here, I'm looking at her, she's got quite blondish hair. She also wants to say here that she's just trying to say the second letter in her name. I'm trying to see a Christian name. Second letter in her name looks to be like A. Second letter in her name. And she's telling me here that she's looking into your life here. And she says here that, would you understand if I said to you that there was a family above you that sort of divided, went the other way. They went in a different directions. And she's telling me here that she was part of the family that wasn't connected with you. And but she is here and she just wants to say to you that she's sending loads of love to you from the spirit world. And also here, would you understand, this is lovely. I've got to say this to you, Cheryl, this is lovely. You've been going through a crazy, heavy time. But would you understand here, especially over the last couple of days here, she says, yes, she understands about the family being divided. Especially over the last couple of days here, would you understand about hugging people? I know we're all talking about hugging at the moment. Would you understand you've been there very much for other people at the moment? And other people are going through trauma of types here. Maybe they know about the situation, maybe they don't. None the wiser, none the matter. But they're telling me here how they're now looking into your life now, and they're saying here, wow, you're helping other people and how that helps you. Would you understand the ring, please? They give me the ring that's come down the family line. And the family line, yes. And a ring that was found accidentally. Yes, they want to give me this to you. And would you understand too if I said the name Derek to you? Hearing this in the spirit world. And would you understand here too if I said to you as well? She says definitely. Okay. And she says to me here too, they're looking at you and they really want to just say, come on now, lift your spirit, you're going to be stronger. And it's interesting actually, because watch what comes in front of you. You think you're used to just difficult, hard times. Yeah. Difficult, hard times, almost like you're expecting life to be hard and difficult. things are going to change. Things are going to change. They want to get this through to you, Cheryl, because they're saying to me here that they look at you and they want you to know and understand that your times come up in front of you now are going to start to get easier. And you're going to think, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It's too easy. No, go and do it. Go and do it. Opportunities are going to open up for you. And also here, around December, or whatever it is, around December, there is a money settlement coming to you. Yes. Oh, I do hope so, she says. Oh, I do hope so. Yes. So times are getting easier. And this is what they want to say to you. You're going to have this, you're going to feel like, oh my goodness, there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel here. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling happier. That's what they want to say to you. Yes. Good. So that's a little message to you here. And let's go and have a look down the line. Where else are we going now? Let's go and have a look at there's a lovely lady out here. Just see her there. There she is. It's yes, so I've got my glass on here. Chelsea. Hello, Chelsea. Chelsea out there in San Diego. Lovely to see you there in San Diego. And okay, I was just here we go. We got Ali's going to be joining us now. So I'll come back to you in a minute, in a mo. Are you ready? Are you ready there? I think we just good, ready. Right, okay. This means, Chelsea, it means I've got to come back to you at some point. So here we go. But in the meantime, can I get you guys to give a warm round of applause to the wonderful Alessandra? Here she comes. Yo, how you doing?
Hey, Phil.
Great to see you. You look fantastic. You look fantastic.
Thank you so much. It's nice to see you.
Oh, it's wonderful. Now, we've just been zipping around everybody, saying hello to everybody, and we're just about to do a reading with someone, and then you came up, so actually she's over your side of the pond rather than my side of the pond. You love your lady called Chelsea. But Chelsea, we will come back to you. We'll come back to you a little later. We'll do something else special for you, Chelsea. How's that? But we're going to talk about you. How's that?
Ooh, Chelsea on the spot.
Chelsea on the spot. Okay, so it's been absolutely lovely because I've been talking to you over about the past couple of weeks or so about just doing something vibey, positive, and getting you back on the show to connect everything. And the moment I start talking to you, the moment the energy just goes whoosh. Up it goes, and the energy is there. It's like chat thing. I'll just have a little 5-minute call with Alessandra 5 hours later. And have you got any other ideas?
I love working with you, Phil.
It's so much fun. So much fun. Anyway, Chelsea says, Laldra. Anyway, let's have a little look. Have you got
that's
pigeons?
My bird.
That's your bird, like it is. I thought, is that something in my loft? Brilliant. Okay, so we're just talking about these particular times we're going through, and how sometimes life can get sometimes just a little bit challenging, can't it? And people have found this to be a challenging time. I mean, we've been having clairvoyance has changed so much. Oh, we just got a little bit of reverb there, feedback. I'm just going to.
Sorry about that.
That's
I think
all right.
That was me.
That's all right. I can sort that out on my end as well. I'll just delete you. It goes. So people going through challenging times and times where people wanting to change their lives and feeling that lives are changing. When you went through this year and it came up to that point where we went into the lockdown, I think it was a worldwide lockdown, wasn't it, back in March? What were your thoughts at that time about thinking, how am I going to handle this? What am I going to do?
Well, I mean, during the lockdown, I started working on emergency business loan funds for small businesses that were struggling or are struggling. And at that time, I was working with a nonprofit that was their whole jam, was being able to serve small businesses. And specifically, we had other programs that helped businesses on Main Street, as we put it.
Okay.
But we didn't have an emergency fund. So that's what I started working on, is this emergency fund. Now I've been able to work with a couple of other nonprofits to develop some emergency funds for their their audiences, the people that they help. And I really think that that's the future for the next couple of years, is finding ways to bring together funders and banks and foundations who see this underserved community as as a growth mechanism, as something that they want to help. And so
Yeah.
that's what I was working on. That's what I'm still kind of working on, is helping these underserved businesses get access to capital.
So that's nice. We're talking about the practical side of life. I know that people look at this as Cafe Clairvoyance as a spiritual show, but there's a spirit about this. You have a spirit about coming out of yourself to say, I'm going to survive. That's a spirit in itself. And clairvoyance being a French word meaning clear sea into things, and that you've been clearly seeing that businesses and people around us that needed support and how to get funding and things like that over there. It looks like you've got a little fan club over there in the States. Dillany Natasha, is that how to pronounce her name there? But you got a little fan club.
Yeah, Dee. She's great.
Oh,
Dee is a great example of somebody who's, taken up arms and gone out, and especially for a community of women, to help and share health and wellness. And she went through a pretty tough time herself, and she came out on top. She had her own situation during COVID with work and jobs, and she went through and fought her way through. And so she's a great example of somebody who is considered or could be considered an underserved small business owner, but she found a way outside of taking a loan to build her business. And so I think there's a lot of creative business owners out there that are doing things like that, Phil. I think even in your community, you've probably seen some small business owners stand up and say, I'm not going down without a fight. COVID's not taking me out.
That's amazing, isn't it? That's amazing. And do you find that more people now are looking within themselves rather than looking for outside places or industries like that to change their lives around?
I think that it's probably, there's still probably some fear. And so there's probably some people that are still hanging on to, that corporate, or that I got to work for somebody life connection. But in reality, I think we're going to really start to see a lot more gig economy, growth. I think we're going to see a lot more small business owners pop up, because they are going to have to get creative with their work and their impact, as businesses, shrink down or have shrunk down in an effort to match their budgets. So I think it's hard to say right now, but yeah, we've already seen a lot of entrepreneurial projects pop up, on both sides of the pond. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
That's what I think makes us rock here as people here. The fact here that you can throw hard times, you can get the governments, the whatever it is, viruses can shut businesses down, and yet you can shut the door, but you can't take the heart out of people. They will come back and they will shine. They will start up here. Do you think so? For instance, we're coming to the end of this year now, not just yet, but we're on our way to the end of the year. When we look at 2021, a lot of people I'm talking to now saying they're now thinking about taking their businesses online and changing the way they do their work. Is this the way you see it now?
I think that there's still an aspect of, face-to-face community. I mean, I saw you, a couple weeks ago, you were doing something in person too. And so I think it's a balance. You can't expect everything to happen online. And online is great, but if you haven't built a brand for yourself outside of the computer, it's going to make it hard for people to relate to who you are inside the computer.
Now that's a big thing, isn't it? I really take that on board there. You've got to look at the both sides of the coin and be I think you've got to be matchy-batchy. You've got to have that same attractiveness, that same wonderfulness as what you got when you're working with people face to face. I think it was the owner of Nike. He said one of the things you've got to be in business is irresistible. I love
I
that.
like that, Phil.
I
I
like that.
like that.
I love
Well,
it.
we both know you're irresistible in business. I mean,
Oh, thank you
you do
very much.
such a
Thank you
good
very
job
much.
with
You're all
that
flattery,
area.
you are. I got to watch you. Got to keep an eye on you. Right. Well, the other side here is, and I was talking to a great friend of mine, Jodie Smart. She has this Oceana Club. She was a fashion designer, and she's done loads of things. We actually do a lot of networking events at her place. Well, one of the things that her word was saying here is, in order to be successful, is consistency. So it's
I agree.
putting your work out there, putting your posts out there, getting yourself known. So we tied this together during a networking event, and it flared up like a flame, and it was like we became, to put the two words together, we became consistently irresistible.
I think that's great. I would add authentic to it.
Consistently, authentically
Yeah,
irresistible,
yeah.
authentically, consistently irresistible. Irresistibly,
Somewhere,
yes. Anyway, that sounds great.
somewhere in
Yes,
there.
I'm sure
Yeah.
we get like I was thinking it was, yeah, yes, AIC, CIA. There you go. Consistently irresistible authenticity. That's what it means. The new word for the CIA.
I
Wow,
like it.
we're too well.
If
You
only
probably
they
got
were.
the AI bots going at the moment, going, "Hey, what?"
Yeah, don't say CIA too many times.
Yeah. No, 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 no. All of a sudden, this red line comes across. Shut down.
That's
No, no, no. We don't do
it.
that. Don't do that. Yes. Oh, dear, dear. Yes. Consistency and being irresistible. Love it. Yes, that's great. So, what would you? So, as we're working here, coming through this year, because over the other side of the pond where you are at the moment, sometimes we find here that what happens in America tends to take a little while, then it comes over this side. This side here. What's new that's happening over there? I mean, we've got all the normal social media stuff. What are people doing now in America that's creating something? There's creating something attractive now. That's modern, hyper modern, coming into technology.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm not sure that I can answer it to the fullest extent that it may need to be answered, but
You
some of the
can
things that,
you can phone a friend. You can.
yeah, maybe I'll phone Dee since she's watching. No, I mean, I think that we've seen some environmental projects go that are highly technical. We've got agri-tech things that are popping up in an effort to help our farming industry. As you know, the farming industry is not a strong industry in the United States, and it's a highly subsidized industry. And the mental health of farmers is not great. I mean, they overwhelmingly don't have the margins that they need to be able to grow, or be able to serve a larger import export. So we're dealing with some creativity around agri-tech. I think we're dealing with a lot of fintech, so a lot of financial technology that's popping up to help
Fin-
banks and foundations.
okay.
And
FinTech. That's interesting. FinTech. We'd never heard of that.
no, you never heard of fintech?
FinTech. No, 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 no. It's not a word over here we use.
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
the first one over here to start using it though. Hey, you got to think about FinTech. Everybody's got to
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
yeah, whatever FinTech.
Well,
Yeah.
I love fintech. I tried to create a startup in that. It's tough. It's a tough industry, but I think that there's probably a lot of marketing that's going to happen. You're going to see a huge growth and huge amount of people that are going to want to start to do digital marketing or want to open their own digital marketing. You see a lot of coaches that are popping up and in the hopes that they can, provide coaching or lifestyle
Yeah.
coaching to other people,
Okay.
which is great. But I also think that they need to have some kind of tangible outcome to that life coaching support that they're going to offer, because there's just so many coaches out there.
There are, but when there's loads of coaches, what does that tell you?
You tell me. What does it mean?
Okay, there's a need for them.
You think so?
Yeah. It's a bit like when I started taking up hypnosis. When I took up hypnosis and psychotherapy, they said there's hundreds and thousands of hypnotherapists out there. And I was thinking, oh, great. No, they said, well, what does that tell you? They tell you. And the chap I was doing there was a doctor in psychology, psychotherapy, hypnosis, and all different types of counselling, and therapies. And he said, no, he says, the reason why we're here helping you guys to get into the movement of hypnotherapy and psychotherapy is because it's in big demand. And actually, he's right, because I haven't stopped working in it.
That's very interesting, Phil.
Yes.
Really.
So that's why you got a lot of coaches.
I wonder, what do you think about the shrinking budget, so to speak, of the clients that these coaches are going to be targeting? Like, how are you going to deal with that as a hypnotherapist coach, as a psychology coach? I mean, tell me a little bit about what you've started to do there in helping with those different people.
Okay. One of the things I notice here is now this is interesting because that's a good question. It's a good question here. Is there's two or three things that come out of lockdown. The fear of lockdown. Then there's the peer come out from lockdown, and then they're feeling completely lost and out of themselves, and the trauma of what lockdown was. It's almost like going back into the past, going, "Oh my God, what happened?" And then thirdly, it's like the people have been felt like they've become prisoners, like they're criminals. They've been held in their own homes. They've been told to stay in. And what people are looking at now is, it's interesting. Before this, you go back to the early part of this year, and people were quite free. Then all of a sudden, the world has said, you are now no longer free. You are now trapped and locked in your homes. So there's been, in effect, a virus has created a dictatorship which has been telling you what to do. So it's tramped down. It's almost like compressed on your heads. You cannot do what you think you can go and do. So then people come out of this, they're thinking, damn, where am I now? The old businesses, the restaurateurs, the service industries, a lot of them have just disappeared and collapsed. Some of them have been helped, but not all of them. A lot of them, especially in Spain out here, is being so badly hit because they rely on tourism. Of course, no tourism's been out here. The only thing is locals are going to empty bars and restaurants enjoying nice meals because there's not many people there. Yeah. So people have got these fears. These fears here is there's this sort of dictatorship of a virus telling you what to do, that you can't be as free as you want to go and be. So people are changing and they're needing to find a way to change. And what people are doing is one of the biggest movements which has come out of this year more than any other time is a spiritual movement. People are getting more into themselves and understanding why they've been feeling the way they're being, because not only as COVID in some respects has been fantastic, it's had a great impact on some people because it's brought up all sorts of fears in people, all sorts, not just the ones about COVID, it's all sorts, because people have been stopped, sat down and thought about things, and all of a sudden past demons come up which they haven't been dealing with. This trauma comes up, then all of a sudden, I think your pigeon agrees. Yes. Anyway, so he was, yeah, that's right, mate. Yes. So this is how this comes up now, and how people are wanting to, hey, I've got to do a lot of stuff. So I'm asked by people now. Some of them talking about this fear of lockdown, but the main thing here is they want now to deal with things that have been troubling them 10, 20 years ago, because suddenly they're having to deal with this. And it took something like this, a complete slam down of society, for people to be able to think, I've got to deal with me. And that's what people are healing and finding. They're now going into themselves to release the old traumas and come up with something amazing. And people are coming out with amazing.
That's really interesting. I can see that a little bit in the fitness industry. I mean, my friend Bex, she just popped up there. Hi Bex, and she's a great example of somebody that took on her health and wellness during the shutdown. She just had twin boys, and she's been working really hard to take on what does it look like to be healthy and have wellness, and during the shutdown, despite not having access to typical fitness communities. So I mean, I think you have a great point. I still have a little concern about where some of the money for these coaches is going to come from, as some of these positions have been downsized and people are starting to be less in an abundance mindset and more in a scarcity mindset. But
yes,
Maybe you
Yes.
can speak towards that. What do you think about the
No,
skills?
I think here, I think that Bex Lewis, I think you're doing a fantastic job. They're fantastic because a lot of fitness people have come out from this and they've actually done a lot of stuff online. And then they start off with the community. And it's interesting actually because you don't have to be, you don't have to charge the earth when you're doing something online. You just need numbers. So where you're working with smaller groups of people over here, over there, you're thinking, I'm just working with, okay, take figures out just for the fun of it. I'm working with 20 people and I'm going to charge them 20 euros or $20 each to do a workshop. Now I'm going to work with 2,000 people, do a workshop, and this time I'm just going to charge €2.
Yeah, actually, it's I have a friend, another friend, Crystal, and she invited me multiple times to a online fitness opportunity where this woman is brilliant as far as I'm concerned. Her name is Star. She's based out of Miami. She's got people all over the world. She charges $39 a month. And
Yep.
you can just hop on to her, e-workouts any day of the week, whenever you want. And, she's got at any given time, maybe, 50 people on her Zoom calls. And so that's a brilliant model, I think. And it's
Yep.
affordable that
It
pretty
is.
much anybody can opt into that.
See, this is what people are doing. They're working for themselves. They're doing stuff themselves and coming out with something they think they've got a give with, whether it's fitness, whether it's talk about therapy, whether it's about music, whether it's about how to survive difficult times. No matter what it is, people are creating ideas. Now, one of them here is Susanna, and she's actually here. Okay, she says, "Hi, Alessandra. You remind me of Gloria on Touched by an Angel. Have you watched it?"
I think I used to watch that show when I was a kid, actually. That's interesting. My mom used to like it. Yeah.
Yes. Now, Susanna is a woman who's gone through some challenging times in life, if you don't mind me saying, Susanna, but she never, ever gives in. Never gives in. And I've seen her. She's got she's made some products in her life here which are just fantastic, from soaps to all sorts of things. But she puts symbols inside them. So there's a soap for wellness, there's a soap for Capricorn, there's a soap for something else. But she does amazing scented soaps, anything like this, and she is just incredible. She's fantastic.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I
she
think
never gives in.
you hit on something, and it sounds like Susanna has kind of been able to do this as well. But
He hits
I think that
back.
the key for some of these online efforts is going to be volume, and
Yeah.
not so much being able to have 1 or 5 clients that you're coaching one-on-one, but maybe it looks more like a mastermind that's a little bit more affordable that people can opt into, or maybe
Yes.
it looks like a class. Master classes are really popular right now. So I do think it's going to be more volume based, and being able to transition your business and your efforts towards supporting many people, not just a few people.
This is interesting because you're hitting another point, which is saying, which I like to say here. You talk about masterminds, but people are getting educated. They've decided to take up education to this time. They're going off to go and get diplomas and different things. They're going to get degrees. They're going to do courses and all sorts. And I think people are building something within themselves to make themselves better people. They hadn't done it before, and now they're doing it, because they feel like I've got to work with me. I no longer want to work in the old system, work in the old way here. Now, interesting here, I'm not trying to cut in. I'm not trying to cut in. I can see you going, ah.
Well, I just want to add, it's not just adults. We have a lot of opportunities available to kids now too, because of the shutdown, because they're locked at home too, and lots of them are stuck doing remote work. I just got an email from a white hat that said, hey, here's a free coding certificate opportunity for your kids if they're ages 9 through 16, and it's only available during shutdown. So I think it's not just adults that are looking at educating themselves. I think there are lots of kids out there that want to take this time to educate and gain new skills too.
I think so too. I think it's a great opportunity. So we're obviously coming into a very much a changing world in front of us, and I think it's a pretty big thing. I was actually talking to a healer a couple of years ago, and he said that we're changing frequency. I said, okay, tell me what you mean by changing frequency. He says, well, the universe and the way you're working with frequency, once upon a time was going this way, going backwards and forwards, going this way. And I said, give me an explanation for that. Give me an explanation of that. And he said here, we're all interested, or people are interested in materialism. They want the best car, the best watches, best houses, best whatever. But people are going to lose interest in that. They're going to stop losing, and they're going to more focus on themselves because the frequency is going to go up and down. So I say, well, what does that mean? He says, well, what the people hear, what happens then is we become more in touch with their feminine sides than we do this masculine side of got to have this, got to have that. It's no, what's in me? What's in me that I can bring out that can make a difference? And I think if we're in touch with that side, then we're going somewhere amazingly. Now, actually talking to a lot of people here who, other therapists and other mediums and spiritual people, they're interesting to say here, the people who are adapting to this the best, this feminine culture side, are men. Men don't want to keep working from 9 till 9. Men are saying, I want to go home and be with my family. I want to finish at 6. You're looking at me going, I don't believe a bloody word of it.
I don't know about that. I could say a couple of things about, we're watching, there's been a couple of reports that women are dwindling in the workforce. I mean, since COVID, more women are losing their jobs and then not returning back to work because they're kind of stuck raising the kids, and then not just raising them in the traditional sense, they're now kind of stuck with the kids in the house all the time. And they're going to now be teachers. And so I think there's a challenge of, how do we balance that? How do we start to create opportunities for women and men to equally be represented in the workforce despite the economic circumstances? And in some facet, there is some responsibility of men to stand up opportunities for women to do that. So while they're ready to come home, I think they also need to contribute to structures that are going to help their, partners or their, children's mothers to continue to work, continue to be, contributing members in the household economically and not just new teachers or things like that. So there's a little bit of challenge there. I think that, we as women are usually the ones that are said to raise the kids. And so in your, what you're saying, maybe there's going to be a flip. Maybe there will be more men that will now stay home with their kids and be the teachers. I don't know. I hope so, but I think we still are going to need to do some work.
Maybe we have to do some work, but we all need to do some work because it's a changing time. But actually, just before this session, I was doing a reading for a lady in England, and she's a teacher. And she said, I'm coming out of the schools. The school system for me doesn't work. In this particular situation, the way the schools are being controlled, she said, no, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm actually coming out, she said, and I'm going to start off my own teaching online. I'll do this online. And I think, yeah, great. And actually working and reading for her, her mindset was in a very strong place, despite even half of her family saying, or actually, no, all of her family going half yes and half no. Yes, it's a good idea, but no, you need structure. Well, structure's changing. Structure's changing. If you're into astrology, you only need to look at Capricorn, the 3 planets moving through Capricorn, see structure is changing. My ideas are changing, mentality is changing, and the way we are related to ourselves is changing. That's a big thing we're going through now. And the other thing I think, which is important, I think we're bringing into this place here. And one of the examples is Deborah, who's my wife, who's the producer of the show, who's feeding all the information on the feed as it goes through. She's now really, I wouldn't say that she hadn't stepped up before because she's always been in a supportive role, but now she's taking more of a leading role on the social media side and actually in the networking side, connecting people. And she has come into the talent, well, it's always been there, but now it's being really needed, is the fact here that she's a connector.
Yeah, I mean, people like Deborah are definitely going to be needed more and more in this
Yes,
kind of economic circumstance. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but it gives opportunities to people like that that maybe didn't get to stretch their legs fully in the market, before.
yes,
I
yeah,
have a good friend who's in Connecticut who is a business owner, and he actually took his business and modified it so greatly over the course of COVID, that he created programs for kids to do these learning pods. And so where he had an empty building and he wasn't able to put his workforce in there, he made it available for parent groups to come in and kind of work together while their kids were doing their own schoolwork. So they were there, but they were in a safe amount of people. And so I think you're going to start to see some creative learning pods, creep up. And we've already seen lots of different structures that are happening. There's a huge call for more technology that's going to happen too. And so, I'm curious. I mean, as you guys have been growing a lot, Phil, I mean, your followers have grown, what, I don't know, tripled in the last 6 or 7 months. And so, I'm curious what you think about that, and how these, not just learning pods, but working pods are going to work, and if they work over there overseas too.
it's interesting you call it the word learning pods. It doesn't happen so much. It doesn't have. We don't get those words so much. They come up as different words. They tend to come up as like groups or clubs or things like this rather than pods. But learning is changing, and more people, especially a lot of people who are in the Cafe Clairvoyance group, who have got children, are saying my children aren't going to school because the school system isn't right. I teach them at home now. So people are looking for something different. And I think if people can get online or people can find a community like that, I think what a brilliant idea. I mean, I think if you've got a job, if you've got a mindset where it's not just what can I do, but more what can I give? What can I give to community to help community to grow? I think you're in a brilliant place. Brilliant place.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I very much admire the business owners that have stood up things like that for their community.
Yes. And I think here, I mean, that's the word. That's the big word that's come out of astrology. It's come out of psychology, psychotherapy. Everything like this is community and how people could go out to communities. So it was amazing back in July. There's a group I know called Cafe Trebus. And they're a vegan cafe, but they struggled through the times when they're locked down. But then what they decided to do is they could change their thing altogether, saying, hang on a minute, this is probably going to happen again. We're going to lock down, and God knows how many more times all things will change. We're going to shut down the physical cafe. And what they do now is they now take the cafe on the road and they go into people's houses. And when they have a house party, they say, you bring us in, we cater for you. You bring your guests in, you give us a fixed amount, we do all the vegan cooking, and you have a great time. And it's fantastic. So if in community is a big word.
I love that so much, Phil, like so much. That is
You come
brilliant.
on over, you can experience it. You can come on into our little cafe here. Just come in the door there. We'll get them in, and Cafe Trebus there, and they come in, and you can come in there and sample their meals. And the chef is a fantastic. He's a vegan chef. One of the things he used to do, he used to cook for Pink, Rockstar Pink. She's vegan, and quite a few others. Yes. So
Cool.
he's really, his food is fantastic.
I've
I'm
come
going to have to
across
charge him. I have to
two.
charge him, but high advertising costs just mentioning his name out here because he's going across the pond. All this.
I love that. Yeah, well, I hope that he does come across the pond because we could use some good vegan chefs over here.
Yeah.
There are two other, food systems that I came across. One was the farmers market, becoming a mobile farmers market. Have you come across that?
Global farmers market. I've heard of something about this.
Yeah, like where farmers markets now are delivering their wares, or you can order a box of vegetables and then they'll show up on their on your doorstep, instead of, this is different than the meal prep where your whole meal comes in a box and then you put it together yourself. This is like you would have normally gone to the farmer's market on Sunday, but instead you can't do that now. So you just click, 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 and then a box of vegetables shows up on your door on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday.
We do that now. And I'll tell you what, if I was to dip downstairs quickly and bring up the great big crate of vegetables I've got, you look at it thinking, that is amazing, because what you get in a supermarket looks nice, but then you get it home and it's like, that doesn't look like what I bought on a shelf an hour ago. Because it's like, it's gone all droopy.
Yeah, I really like that system. I think it's great. Another one that I came across was, these similar to the way that your friend kind of shows up and does, different, different meals for you. I've been able to participate in a couple of different conferences, and they send you lunch, or they send you dinner, or they send you a bottle of wine. And I think that's a brilliant way to integrate some of their community partners, or have some restaurant kind of cater while you're doing your conference. And to your friend's point, overseas you could even get some partners in America and have them using your recipes, or having them sending off your dishes to people in that conference that are local to them.
But that's a fantastic idea, isn't it? Because you could share an idea like that, have a meal together. All right, you're separated by a screen, but after a while you forget about the screen. You just concentrate on the focus, the conversation. It's funny, it's laughable. And I must admit, after every show, I come away with all the people, whether it's the people that have made comments on the screen, the people I shared a call with, I come away going, that was fantastic. That was amazing. And talking about this with people, I just think wow, it's just so buzzy. So I just love doing this. It's just such a buzz. And interviewing people like you is like... I think someone up there said at some point in November 2020, you're going to have a great time because in 2020, because you're going to meet this girl, Alessandra. You have great interviews. It's going to be one of the big points of the year. So I think, yeah, rock on.
You're great, Phil. I'm so glad that I was able to share just a little bit of anything, about all these different things that we're dealing with in COVID. But you've got such great people in your group. I keep seeing them pop up with all these awesome little comments, and I'm really excited to see what they're up to too. And I always love tuning into what you're up to. So thanks for having me. Really, it's been a great conversation.
You're not going yet. You're not going yet. There's a wonderful lady here called Mila, and she's just saying, awesome interview as always. I love Mila. So
love Mila. Mila's brilliant. Okay. She is a social media guru.
Oh my goodness, yes. She keeps saying to me, I'm going to have to write, like you get, for instance, you get James Bond, and you almost get like the comments of James Bond, don't you? They're like, evening, money, Benny. Yes, you get that sort of stuff. This is Mila's one. Mila's one here is like, what are you doing now? What have you done now? So I think it's fantastic. She's just brilliant. Her comments are amazing. Now what have you done? But she's got
Mila's always got posts. She makes posts that make you think. Not just about what you're doing, but about what everybody else is doing. And I think those are the kind of people that you want on your team. People that can encourage your engagement, that they can tie in their own audience because they have some connection points. And Mila's one of those. You're a great example of that too. You always know how to tie your audience in. I love how your shows always have just a huge variety of topics, and you seem to be able to just work with whoever you're dealing with. And from somebody who's a healer to somebody like me that's definitely not a healer.
Well, you are healing. You are healing because you're bringing a calmness to people, which is wonderful, absolutely wonderful here. Now, as a comment I saw there earlier on, actually, yes, I think what I have to do on another show is to bring Mila in. So, three of us doing this, talking about modern times, networking, how people are turning into social media, and where we go. So, I know she'll be up there. And Chelsea, if you're out there, just give us a little ding dong. Just let her know you're there, because I'll come back to you in a minute. We've got 5 minutes, but if you're there, Chelsea, come back. Just say to me here, I'm here. Now I'll talk to you in a minute. So we're coming up to we're coming towards the end of this year here, and we're going to next year. Have you ever thought about doing a show?
No, not really. I'm not. I like being on everybody else's show.
Okay.
I'm a fan of being an advocate and a help in all these different areas, and I think that's one of the things that I like consistently being able to contribute to other people's missions. I've thought a few times about creating some sort of a mastermind for small business owners or entrepreneurs who aren't really sure how to strategize. I, have been very lucky to participate in lots and lots of communities and meet lots of interesting people and business owners, and they always have such great ideas. So being able to share some of the ideas that I've come across and that I've been able to work with, that fuels me. I like that. So more than a show, or less than a show, but maybe more like a mastermind. I don't know. I'm not sure I could keep up.
Well, actually, that's good. I'm glad you said that because that leads me into the next point, actually. Leads me in beautiful next point. And you just do not know what you've just walked into, but fantastic. Well done. This is blinding what you've done because as we do cafe networking, me and I do cafe networking with Deborah. Deborah there, the three of us work together. And we're always looking at ideas where we connect people together. And what we'd love to do is a mixture of a live event and an online event. A live event, online event. So it's a mixture of two. So we've got a big screen where people can join in online, like for instance, we're there, and how an audience can interact with someone who's online, talking away backwards and forwards, having a creative environment like that. And I think that would be great to invite you onto a show where we got a public audience and an online audience. And I think that would be interesting how we could work with that. Yeah.
Sure, that sounds like a lot of fun. I think that's a great idea. I
Yeah.
haven't seen, really anything like that, and that seems like a brilliant idea.
Yes. The only thing is 11 o'clock in the morning over here. That's 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. your time. Don't worry. We'll send over a nice cup of hot chocolate, get you up. Will you get up? Wake.
Hey, no problem. I'm a night owl anyway, so I'm sure I can hang.
Anyway, before we're going to go here, Chelsea. Now I started to do your reading here, but rather than leave you in the air, hung and dry, is there anything you would like to ask that myself or Alessandra can answer or help you with? Have you got a question about work, approach to work, mindset, anything like that you would like to ask? You've got 2 minutes to do this, and we will answer you there. And other guys out there, depending how Chelsea forms a question here, whatever it is we can give you, may help you guys just as much as it helps Chelsea. So Chelsea, type away. You've got a couple of minutes there. Good. Okay. So working with, do you think it's the work you've been helping here to work small businesses? Is fantastic. I think networking over here has helped small businesses or even people who weren't sure what they're going to do because their lives have changed are now starting small businesses, and networking really seems to be helping. Really appears to be bringing people together. Your pigeon agrees. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think that there's a call to action that we really have to take on, and that is how are we going to get the funding partners to the table to keep small business alive? And some of those funding partners aren't going to be small businesses. They're going to be large businesses. They're going to be foundations, and traditionally in times of recession, foundations don't spend a lot of money. So we have to find really creative ways to interact and have these support mechanisms created.
Okay, and it's interesting because a lot of what people have as fears is that how are they going to small businesses feel like they're being completely shut down? Small businesses have got this feeling here regarding that they are not going to be able to survive, and it's all just going to be then like the big guys, the big industries that survive, and all the small ones just going to disappear. What would you want to say to those guys to help them keep their lifeblood alive?
I think we had a great conversation about lots of different innovative opportunities and ideas that small businesses are rolling out, and from the vegan chef over there to the pod learning pods here to just being a stand for health and wellness and creating live opportunities that are affordable for people to opt into. I think that there's a lot of opportunities for every industry to take innovative structures and apply them to their business. And small businesses are going to have to start to look at that, and they have a lot of partners. They have a lot of other small businesses that are willing to share what they're doing, and so you can copy somebody, and it's not a bad thing anymore. I mean, before you didn't want to copy somebody else's business structure or business model, but now if you're in a different industry or you have different people that you're helping, there's nothing wrong with copying that model.
No, but the Japanese were the first people to start doing that, weren't they? America
Yeah.
brought out a I don't know, a Chevy pickup, and then Nissan copied it, almost the same body shape.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how people have done this in the past, but I think now we're in a really unique opportunity where we have more access to these models and to these ideas than we ever had before. So, Chelsea's asking anything in regards to education.
Yes.
So, can you speak more to that, Chelsea? What do you mean by in regards to education?
Is this one of the things I say here, just while I'm waiting for it to come back? I think one of the most important things education is what it is you want to drive that to what you want to go and do. How's in this modern time, how's it going to fit into what you're doing? How's it going to fit into what you're doing? Because the world is changing. Yes, that's one of the things.
Yeah, and really evaluating the cost. Like,
Yeah.
is the cost of a traditional education something that you need right now, or can you find ways to educate yourself without getting that expense or without using that expense? And I think there's a lot of internships, and there's a lot of online education tools that you can use to kind of decrease what you would normally have to spend at a college or a university. Some of those opportunities are going to start to really be expanded. And I also think that universities and colleges are going to have to start to change their own models and their own price structures to fit this too, to be able to be competitive.
Yes, I think so too. I think that's a great thing to point out there is, and some people I know, I'm not saying this is you, Chelsea, I'm not saying this at all, but a lot of people here, they go round and round and round and round and round the house going, educated. But then when does it turn into something different when it becomes, it changes that way? I agree with you. Totally agree with you. I am, yes, let's have a look through something here. Yes, okay. Chelsea, we're waiting for you. Anything else you'd like to say here to help you? No problem if that's it. No problem at all. But what I'd like to say though is I think to have the opportunity to work with you again this evening and just all this has been awesome. Awesome opportunity. Awesome time. And I always love these shows because it's something that's completely different and something that really makes people think, oh, this is interesting. What do you see for nursing school and living situation? Okay, living situation. So nursing school. So a lot of nursing schools, they actually have live-in stuff, don't they?
Well, yeah, but so I have a friend here who has been working in the medical community for probably 20 years, and he, one of his licenses lapsed, and it was during COVID. And so he went through and he did all of the education, but he was unable to do the clinicals because of COVID. So he was awarded, this is interesting, he was awarded his certification, he was given his license, but he's going to have to, in the beginning of next year, in spring of next year, go back and do his clinicals.
Okay.
And so I found that really interesting that, you're seeing that medical professionals are getting awarded their licenses, or they're getting opportunities to actually practice without being able to do some of these clinicals. That's interesting. Some of the other things that you're going to start to see are, online aspects, or, I have a son who's really very interested in the medical community. And so one of the classes that he's wanted to sign up for is sending him a suture kit. and he has to practice sutures on his own over Zoom, and demonstrate that he can do these things over Zoom. And so
Okay.
that's another creative way to look at nursing school, is that maybe you're not going to get to work on work on people, but you might be working on pig's feet or pig skin, like they do in medical school sometimes. But as for the living situation, hopefully with this new vaccine, we may see that there'll be less restrictions around people living together. But the universities and colleges, again, are really pushing towards that online really pushing towards that online structure. My
Yeah.
friend Bex here, she's another medical, working in the medical community. She's been part of the medical community for many years, and she, is saying here that they're hiring right out of school without licenses. So that may be another, thing that you'll see in nursing schools and
Yeah.
working doing your clinicals, is that you may not need to have your license to get hired. You may actually get hired on, and that may be your clinical time. So I think there's a lot of creative ways for us to manage this. And if there is truly a demand for more medical professionals, then maybe we should look at how they get licensed and how they get certified. And do they need to jump
Fantastic.
through as many burning hoops of
Fantastic.
fire as they used to?
Fantastic. I think that is awesome. Yes, they're so short staffed as they are over here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Okay. Alessandra, what can I say? That this has been an extraordinary show, and perhaps we can invite you to come on to Cafe Networking in a not too distant future. And I know Mila would be going, yes, good idea, fantastic. And but in the meantime, guys, we're back on Tuesday with Kelly Johnson and her amazing mandala art. Now, this is incredible stuff. She does this work, and it takes her months to do this. Absolutely months to do this. I'm trying to shrink the image down. That's it. So I'll just get there. Thank you very much.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, she is amazing. And Sis mandala art and what she does with it and what it all means, because every mandala art has a different significating mean to it. So we'll be combining you guys, readings, live show, mandala art, and she's going to be talking about how she does this. And it's amazing. It's amazing. So we look forward to seeing her. That's going to be same time on Tuesday next week, 8 o'clock. I'm Phil Griggs. I've been your host. This has been my wonderful, wonderful guest, Alessandra. Please give all our love to everybody over there at your part of the world. They're from all of us here at Cafe Clairvoyance and also Cafe Networking. And all the audience here. Loads of love to you guys and wherever you are around the world. And thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure having you on. I extended the time a little bit because we got on a bit later, and I just wanted to get your stuff out there. So fantastic. And
Phil, you're great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, my darling. Pleasure, my darling. Big. There you go. Big hearts and burgers. Hearts, burgers. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same. Take care. Loads of loads. Take care. Bye-bye.